name is Christian Aldo, and welcome to this edition of the Plastic General. In today's episode, I'm here in beautiful Poland, and the year is 1939, and tomorrow morning will be September 1st, and I'm having a great time. I have to admit the tension here in Poland, it's a little bit high. I think they're, between you and I think they're a little bit paranoid. I think that they should relax a little more, because that Hitler guy, he's assured us that there won't be any trouble. And besides, if the Germans do anything, we will defend ourselves. But more importantly, France and Great Britain, they're going to come to our aid, and even the Soviets. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm having a good time, and we've got a lot of cool toys to show off. And so, I think I gotta go. Fire! So here I am. I'm glad to be back. Here we are in 1939, September. World War II is about to begin. And up until just the last few years, nobody has ever done anything about Poland in World War II. It's it's the beginning. It's the beginning of Star Wars. But before we get into that, I just want to say that I'm standing in my brand new official Plastic General shooting studio, so now I can shoot whenever I want, whatever time I want. So we're gonna have a lot more episodes on a regular basis. And now also, I gotta say that this particular episode is sponsored by Michigan Toy Soldier out of Royal Oak, Michigan. And I want a big thanks to them. And I'll give them another plug later on. They can supply you with all of your toy soldier needs. I remember the first time I ever went in there, I was blown away. It was like going into Alibaba's cave, and it was just filled with every collectible you could ever imagine. Oh man, I always go with a big wad of cash when I go there. Also, I want to thank my good friend Jerry for gifting me with this Polish hat for like a Polish soldier from World War II. He had this, and he's Polish, and that's a real Polish hat. That makes me extra Polish. So, anyways, getting back to the goodies, Spiria finally came out with some 3D printed Polish figures, which we're going to feature in this episode. We have a 3D printed Polish armor. There's even a Polish aircraft that was used in the Battle of Poland, and lots of good stuff. So, all of these things being said, don't forget to subscribe. And now let's get to the first of the goodies. Okay, boys, let's get to the tanks. So, the first offering is the Polish 7TP tank, and it's a light tank, and of course, this is 3D printed. Look at that. And it was originally done by a 3D printer chick, but since she's no longer around, many of the 3D printing people, they own the patterns and stuff. So it's not hard to find on eBay or wherever else. Everybody has the secret, you know, technology to make the Polish tanks. There's lots of people doing it. And here, this will give you an idea. There's one of Spiria's commander figures standing in front of the tank. So that's proper scale. This was a light tank, so you can get it pretty much anywhere. And now for the next tank, which is not much of a tank. It's more of a little tankette. Look how cool that is. This was a World War I-ish sort of idea. They had the idea of making small tankettes for infantry support. Now this particular tankette is a two-man vehicle, and this is a 20 millimeter gun on there. And the idea was it would drive up to things and shoot, and then give people support. They can hide behind it or whatever. But just, you know, it's give infantry support. But there's one thing that they never thought about, that the rough ride would, you know, crack. People would bang their heads inside the thing, and the fumes. But most importantly, small arms fire could go right through this thin armor. And so, you know, basically it was a heavy machine gun carrier, basically. But that's how big it was compared to a person. So here's the commander. Here's the commander I made. There we go. Gives you a good idea of the scale. So again, all those tank printing companies now, they all have the data to make this guy. So you can make it in any old scale. I definitely get it, and it's solid and it's nice. There's no moving parts, but it's awesome as it is. So there you go. Okay, let's get started with the first figure set. And I want to talk about this very first Polish set that's ever been made. And it was released finally by a company out of the Czech Republic called Spiria. And so the owner and creator of the Spiria models, Christian Gustafsson, I think that's his last name, Gustafsson. Him and I had spent a lot of time talking on the phone, and we were talking about, you know, since the Polish had never been done, it's time to do them. So he did 10 fantastic models, and him and I talked about every pose that was going to be done. And these are the 10 poses that we talked about. And here they are now. So, pose number 1 is a Polish commander. And of course, he's wearing the four-cornered commander's cap. And he's firing a WZ-35 this pistol. Look at that. it's a good figure. It's got a lot of nice details, perfect proportions and anatomy. It's a great figure. Poses 2 and 3 are 2 Polish infantry figures, and of course they're wearing the 19. Where's that helmet? Oh, they're wearing the WZ 1931 helmet. I think that's what it says. Okay, so it's a 1931 helmet, and they're standing sharpshooting and kneeling sharpshooting, and they're sharpshooting. It's the Carbonique WZ-29 WZ-29 rifle, and look at those great backpacks on there. Again, 2 fantastic figures, and of course they're 3D printed. And for poses 4 and 5, you have a figure throwing grenade, holding rifle, and running with rifle. And we'll take a nice close look at those. My little spinning plate seems to be stiffening up. And here's some interesting figures. You have a figure prone, firing the WZ-29 rifle, and this one is this figure is firing from the waist. He's firing an American Browning, but these were the ones that were kind of used in the interwar period, and I guess they were sold to. They were originally from World War I, but they were sold to the Polish. They retrofitted them for World War II for the Americans. But in this case, it's a left-handed. Ooh, you know how I feel about left-handed figures. But anyways, it's a left-handed shooter. I don't know why, what the advantages to that, but it is. But since it's 3D printed, you probably could request that he's right-handed, which I would love to do myself. Now for this last batch, that is pose number 8, 9, and 10, we have a good old-fashioned machine gun team. And it kind of looks like these figures are firing a Vickers, but apparently they are really firing a CKM WZ-30 heavy machine gun, tripod machine gun. So you have this great commander, and he's looking with binoculars, and you have the guy firing the machine gun, then you have the loader. So like we talked about all 10 of these poses. But you know, since then, I know that Spiria has released more poses because let's face it, the possibilities for 3D printed figures, the poses are endless. They can go on forever. So if you go to their website and check it out, Spiria is spelled, how do you spell Spiria? S-P-E-I-R-A. And they have like tons and tons of stuff there. So let's take a look at the whole gang. So the gang's all here. And oh, I want to put a special thanks together for my friend out of the States. His name is Drew Scoggins. And he loves to paint figures, and he does it sometimes professionally and sometimes for himself. But this time he did it as a favor to the Plastic General, and we're very grateful. Look how beautiful those figures are. They're fantastic. Thank you, Drew, and thank you, Christian from Spiria. And now let's get on to the next set. Oh, one more footnote. Because these are 3D printed figures, you can also, this particular set is designed to go together perfectly with like Plastic Platoon and Conti, or you can choose to have them printed in regular 132 scale, which is 54 millimeter, which will go really well with AIRFIX or 21st Century Toys, that sort of thing. So that's all I wanted to say. And now for the final and coolest offering, I think. I bring you the Polish PLZ P11C fighter by IBG Models. And of course, it's in 132 scale. Now, this is a really cool model kit, but it's in 132 scale. And also, I got the version that included the fighter pilot. But of course, it's the fighter pilot on the ground. I don't want him on the ground. Like, actually, to all you airplane manufacturers and or kit makers, always include a sitting pilot and a standing pilot. Why? Because maybe I want this guy in the cockpit, you dummies. Anyway, let's get to this. So this was obviously, it was an outdated plane. By the time the Germans attacked with their Bf-109Es, they got plastered up there. They had these nice little machine guns here, little pea shooters up here, like that. And look at the two the two blade propellers. It's got a couple little bombs under the wing, and like you can just. It's a cool little plane. I'm really glad they came out with it. I haven't put the decals on yet, but I'm glad I have something. I'm sure this will find its way into the battle today. And here's a nice look at the pilot figure. It's actually a fantastic sculpt. Look at that ridiculous. It looks like D-pens. Look at the giant ridiculous. Like one parachute's not enough. That tells me a lot. That tells me that they know this airplane sucks and they're going to be shot down. That's why he goes, give me more parachutes, please. For sure. Look at that. So anyways, there it is. The PLZ P11C fighter, Polish fighter, and it's by IBG Models, and it comes highly recommended. So buy that. Okay, here's my interpretation of a 1939 German infantryman with his cheesy little shirt. Well, this is my interpretation of it because this is what I have. Just throw some shoulder boards on there, and I kind of look like those German soldiers from that TV show from the 60s, Combat. Look. And then also I look like one of the Marx toy soldiers, the Marx Germans. So let's think of a pose of the Marx Germans. Oh. It is. That's what it looks like. Anyway, that being said, the perfect set to go up against Spiria's 1939 Polish are, of course, the immortalized AIRFIX 132 German infantry. The way the sculptor made those guys look like they came right out of September 1939 with their press suits. So that's what we're going to show. It's so funny how AIRFIX did that. Even the Panzer IV that they made, it didn't even have a stowage compartment. The shortest barrel. Of course, that's like a 1939 version of the Panzer IV also. So that being said, let's get into this iconic set. Okay, are you ready to get into this super immortalized set by AIRFIX. First figure, German commander firing Luger. We've all seen it a million times. Poses 2 and 3, standing aiming Mauser and kneeling aiming Mauser. Classic. I should have had him painted, but I'll have him painted by the time I do the battle. Poses 4 and 5. Mauser strapped to back and throwing a stick grenade and running with Mauser. You can see this guy, he looks like he's running out of a barrack. You know, you can imagine 5 or 6 of these guys. Well sculpted, beautifully sculpted by hand. No computer assistance back in these days. Pose number 6. Firing the predecessor to the MP40, which is the MP38. It's almost built exactly like an MP40 or a Schmeiser, they like to call it. But it's got a wood stock. I always found that was a strange choice, but you know what? It's a good choice for the period. And finally, for pose 7 and 8, and that also, AIRFIX is breaking from their usual way of doing things. They would usually only come up with seven poses or 14 poses. It's a machine gun team, and the gunner is firing an MP34. And the loader is loading, and he has a Mauser rifle. Classic. There you have them. The gang is all here, and they're still readily available. I mean, like, the AIRFIX 132 scale are almost always being reissued. Unfortunately, some molds have been destroyed or lost, like the Italians, or some of the dead poses from the Gurkha or the American paratrooper set. But all 8 poses are what this set is comprised of, which is really kind of cool. You know, like AIRFIX broke from their usual to do that. It would have been nice if they would have done a 14 pose set for this, but they never thought of it because this is one of the first sets they released. So there you have it. Okay, the first thing we're going to look at is the 132 scale Panzer 38. This was made by 21st Century Toys, and it was a great tank. You know, it was very early, used in the early first years of the war, and these things are cheap and they're readily available still everywhere. They're out of production. But like I said, you can get them anywhere, eBay. You know, it came with a tank commander, I'm pretty sure. But I don't remember who it came with. But this is a figure comparison. Because it's a light tank. And there we are. Oh, it was a Checkmate tank, by the way, also. Checkmate. Checkmate! Checkmate! Now, the next item, it was made by Forces of Valor, and it's the early STUG, with the short 75 millimeter barrel gun, and this was the commander that it came with. And you know, it used the real the chassis of the Panzer IV, and like I said, the short barrel 75 millimeter gun. It's nice and useful for the period. Yeah, they used a lot of like very early crummy tanks for the first few years of the war. They even drove these into Russia, and eventually they had their realities checked by 1942. So there you go. Short-barreled STUG by Forces of Valor. That was a close call. I just barely made it out of Dodge. Anyway, I can hear some guns fire in the background, so I'm gonna have to get the heck out of here. But anyways, some good news. It looks like Sergey from Mars is gonna be releasing 3 new sets in 2024. He's not in Ukraine right now, but he's in Cyprus. But he'll be getting Mars up and running again soon. So that's it. Long live 132, World War II. My name is Christian Aldo, and I'm the Plastic General. Till next time. Oh, better get out of here. I'm here with Rick Berry at Michigan Toy Soldier in Royal Oak.
Howdy.
The greatest toy soldier store I've ever been to in my life.
Probably the only one.
My darling, well, she falls in his arms while she can. She simply can't refuse him. Oh, how she'd hate to lose him. For the girl who weds a soldier is the girl who adores a parade.